coming here today. The thing about these kind of events is that whenever you come is the right time, and wherever you go is the right time, and whoever comes is the right person. So with that in mind, let's get this event started. It's to celebrate a few things. First of all, to celebrate the fact that this is opened here in West Bromwich by some of the younger members of our community, and the fact that they're encouraging and showing other young people the way forward in terms of entrepreneurship, because it's really important that young people take a lead in today's society. And also to celebrate the election for Councillor Preety here, and also John Edwards, who got re-elected at the last election, who will be joining us later on. And a few things in terms of the new government and politics altogether. There's been a lot of people talking amongst young people saying, well, actually, all the government does is talk, they never actually do anything. But the thing is, what we must remember is that ideas start from the brain, from the mind, okay? So ideas start from the brain and the mind. It comes from thinking, okay? And then it gets to the stage where you talk about those ideas. And then from talking about those ideas, it goes to paper. You start putting those ideas onto paper, and then it becomes a bit more real to you. And then takes place the implementation. So it begins with the idea, then it comes to talking about it, then it goes onto paper, and then it becomes implementation. And the thing is, there's only so much that we can move forward with. But I guess starting with something by talking about it is the first step. And just because you don't see results straight away, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. In the same way, we must remember that big things, a project like this, came from talking, came from an idea, came from putting things on paper, and we must remember that patience is also key. If we look at leadership, in terms of past leadership, present leadership, yeah? All the good leaders in our communities, they all go through struggle. And the reason they go through struggle is to serve the people, because they are working for you. Councillors, they work for you. Politicians, they work for you. Now, you might think that actually, well, do they really work for us? But actually, they are there because you voted for them, because you've chosen them to lead you, okay? To me, leadership comes from centrality, okay? So I was talking to Leroy before, and if we look at the sun, for example, it's central, okay? It doesn't move, it's there, it doesn't do nothing, it doesn't come into your doors and say to you, knock, knock, I'm here, get up. It doesn't say nothing like that to you, it's there. Whether you wake up or not, the sun is there. Whether you go to sleep or not, the sun is there. Okay? In the same way, that's the way governments and leadership should be as well. They should be there no matter what happens. Okay? The earth revolves around the sun. Everything revolves around the sun. The trees grow, the plants happen, the rain falls. All that happens just because the sun, being the central leader in this, is there. Okay? Central power should remain like the sun, not ordering about, and ideas should come from the local people. It should be local people giving the ideas to those politicians, to the councillors, for them to fight on your behalf, because that's why they're here. Okay? If we look in the past, the apartheid, women getting the vote, the end of Soviet Empire, all of these leaders, the people that took charge of all these things, they were not leaders by name. They were leaders because they became leaders. They got, they were given the power by the people to be their leader, to be their voice. Okay, they weren't politicians. They were people that were put in their position because they were making a difference to their communities. We as people, we need to learn to appreciate the goodness around us. Okay, so take an apple seed for example. It's small. Okay, probably not bigger than a centimeter in size. But if we plant the apple seed, what we see is it grows into a plant, okay? Grows into a plant, that plant grows into a tree, and it lasts not for 5 years, 10 years, but 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, okay? And that apple tree will feed people no matter what they are. It will feed you if you're a beggar, if you're a politician, if you're a millionaire, a rich person or a poor person. It does not discriminate. It will never ask you for your Visa card. It will never say to you, where's the money? You can't have my apples because you don't have cash. It will never say that to you. It is undiscriminate of anything, okay? And in the same way, saints, sinners, whoever you may be, whatever people may be, that apple tree there is to provide fruit for you for your benefit, even if you take it to make a business from it or to profit from it. okay? The reason I say that is because often we talk about sustainability, okay? Sustainability comes to anything in life, alright? We've got this business, we need to make it sustainable, we need to make it last. We want it to be here for years and years to come, okay? Communities, we need to make them self-sustainable. The government at the moment talks about decentralization, which means giving power to the communities, okay? And that power is really important because it's your opportunity to be able to influence what happens and shape what happens in your communities. Council elections, there is an element of competition in there, okay? But let's take the word competition and see where it comes from. It's a Latin word which comes from competere, which means competition. And if we look at the Latin definition of competition, it means to strive together, to coincide and to seek. But these days, words have been changed to suit the needs for the people. Competition has become about fighting against people, but in the Latin definition of competition, it means to strive together, okay? Let's look at the word company in terms of business, in terms of the building that we're in now. Yeah, companies, businesses, let's take that word. It comes from the word pane, which means to share, okay? It's a French Latin word which was used when people got together to share bread, okay? So pane comes from, company comes from pane, which means to share things. But these days, company, what is it about? It's about, again, people fighting against each other, not working together. The only way we can work, the only way we can succeed is if we work together. That's the only way. And for me, there are two things, okay? So the spirit of leadership, and then there's the leadership spirit, all right? We're all born with both things. If we look at religion in Islam, the man is the leader, the wife is the leader, the child is the leader, everybody's a leader. The imam of the mosque is the leader, everyone's a leader, okay? Look at philosophers and all that other stuff. Again, we're born with two things, spirit of leadership and leadership spirit, okay? The leadership spirit is there within us, and the spirit of leadership is for us to choose whether we bring that out or not. Alright? It is our choice to make the change in our communities, and whether you do it or not, it's up to you. You have to live it, breathe it, and you have to do it. Okay? I came across one person once. I was doing a training session, and I asked the question: if you was in the Oxford Dictionary, what would your definition be? And the person couldn't answer me, which amazed me, because if you cannot define yourself, you cannot expect anybody else to define you, and it's really important that we are able to do that, okay? And just to kind of finish off, the last two things, I want to tell you a little story that happened, okay? I was on the train going to London one day, and I sat down, and what happened was there was a man that was sitting in front of me, so I said hello to him because I'm generally quite friendly, and I say hello to anyone. And he didn't respond to me, so immediately I thought to myself, okay, this man is ignorant, he doesn't want to say hello to me, but he's ignorant and I'm not going to respond back to him. So I sat down, I put my head down, I was going to have a nice rest. Next thing you know, the man comes to me and he taps me on my shoulder, and I thought to myself, how rude can you be after you ignored me and you expect me to now to respond to you? But I got up and I looked at the person and he handed me a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper it said on there, can you please call my wife and tell her that I'm okay, I'm on my way to London on the train. Actually, the man wasn't being ignorant, he was deaf. From this story, there's two things, okay? What are we missing in life and what are we making up? That question should be, you should ask yourself those questions on a daily basis. You come to this restaurant, you see a group of people here, we're here gathering here. If I'm standing over there, I might be thinking, well, what's going on here? What am I missing and what am I making up, okay? The things that we miss fuel our emotions. The fact that I missed he was deaf fuels my emotions, okay? The fact that I made up he was being ignorant or arrogant painted an image of him in my mind instantaneously. And it's really important that we don't do that. So if there's anything you take from today, then always ask yourself those two things. What we're making up and what we're missing. The great work that has been going on here has been led by Anam here, who's done so much work in this community, yeah? And every one of those things, he lives and breathes it, okay? If you was to define him in an Oxford Dictionary, everything I've said would come under his name, because that's the amazing people, the amazing kind of person that he is. And it's people like Anam who really have that power in those local communities. The fact that he's brought in £2.5 million to this area, the fact that he's helped so many people, but he never ever takes credit for it. And I was reading a quote one day and it was saying, the best never admit that they are the best. And that is someone like Anam who will never ever say that I've done this or done that. And I never ever get the opportunity to say thanks to him for everything that he's done. And also, the fact that we have these young chaps here who have opened this business, it costs a lot of money, and in times like this where we've gone back into a recession, it's not easy opening a business, to start something from scratch, to put your money in there. It's a gamble. You don't know whether it's going to succeed or not, but unless you don't try, you'll never know whether it's going to happen or not. I was talking to Daniel before and I was saying time, it doesn't wait for nobody. You have to either go with it or you get left behind, unfortunately. And that's I guess, my last comment for today. I know that we want to hand some stuff out as well, so if you want to join me at the front to hand some awards out, Councillor. The first award that we want to give is to Saleh, in recognition of your ambition, strong work ethic that inspired you to establish your successful catering establishment at Mr. Bill. And Councillor Gill wants to present this to you today.
This is to your success.
Thank you.
Yes,
and the next award we want to give is to the... Oh, sorry, do you want to take a picture? And the next award that we want to give today is to Mohammed Haq, who's also one of the business partners here.
Rahim, you get in there as well. Thank you very much.
well done.
Thank you.
George. Thank you very much.
I don't know, Councillor, if you want to say anything. Congratulations on your for getting elected for St Paul's Ward in Smethwick. I don't know if you want to say a few words or anything.
Yeah, just to say thank you very much for inviting me. It's been really inspirational while I've been sitting here meeting some young people who are very active in the community and certainly very active in politics, which is what we want to see, is more young people coming forward. I was telling two of the young boys here that Sandwell has one of the youngest councillors at the age of 20 who actually studies with Leroy, I think it is, and yourself, which is really, really inspiring, and I hope more people come into politics. I just think that the boys that have set this up, that's tremendous to see young people coming into entrepreneurship. And yeah, it's a very brave thing to do in this recession, and I wish them every success, and I think that the fact that they've been so passionate enough to actually want to set this up, they will be very, very successful. And I just want to say thank you to Anand for inviting me as well, and it's been really lovely meeting some young people, and I really want to work with you. And yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing. I think Anand phoned me the other day and he said to me, is there anyone you can think of that wants to get an award? And I was thinking, well, if anyone should get an award, it should be you. Nobody's really recognised the hard work that you put into it. I haven't put it in the frame yet, because it still needs to be signed by some others. But if you want to come and take this award, presented by...
We're going to get the signing, because we just got each hand to sign. A bit more sweater for. There you go. We want to get a bit closer. Alright, stay with me.
That's fine.
Do you want to come up? Where's Joe going?
Joe is
Anyway.
We'll have some food now.
Yeah. Guys, help yourself to some. Guys, help yourself to some food and stuff. Okay, we've got some food. Thank you very much.